In this part of the video, we will be covering the AC outlet assembly. Now, as a safety matter, please make sure that your AC outlet plug is nowhere near an outlet, an actual active outlet in the wall. First thing we're going to do is flip the acrylic board over, and we're going to apply the little rubber feet included. So the middle foot is going, if you look at you may not be able to see it in the camera, but I'll put a still on the screen. If you look at the RIoTS logo where it is in roughly the center of the acrylic, if you just go down to the middle from there, the other four will just be placed in the corners a few millimeters from the edge in either way. Now, flip the board back over. First thing we'll be doing is attaching the blue gang box to the acrylic. Now, you'll notice maybe in the bottom, there are two pre-drilled holes, and there's also a logo that says Carlin on it. This will go on the right side of the RIoTS board. So oriented like so. And we will be using two of the larger screws. There's large screws and small screws included in the kit. We will be using two of the large ones for this, and it's pretty simple really. You just are going to plunge these screws through the pre-drilled holes. And the reason we're putting the gang box on first is so that it's because we can't access these holes later. So once this is in there, it's inaccessible. So that's why we're doing this now versus later. Next, you'll need your AC power cord. Again, remember, this should be nowhere near an AC outlet right now, except maybe that one. We're going to use some wire strippers to just strip some length off the end. We can do about 3/4 of an inch or so. Maybe a little more than that. There we go. On all three of the wires. Twist the ends together of the green and white ones. We'll do the black one here in a second. And for the black one, we're going to have an interesting setup with this outlet, and I'll explain that here in a second. But what we want to do with the black one is grab one of the included other black wires that is, and twist it together with the black one preemptively. Okay. At this point, we should definitely, before we forget, put this through the back hole of the gang box and feed it through just like so. You can pull it through as far as you need to make it assembly easier. Okay. Something to note on outlets is there's a tab right here. Now we're on one side of the outlet, there's two sides, and you'll notice on one of them we've pre-broken one of the tabs. Now the reason we've done this is this makes these two independently controllable outlets. So what we're going to do in the circuit we're about to build, we're going to be able to make the top outlet, if we're looking at it like this, the top outlet will always be active when the AC plug is plugged into an active wall socket. The bottom one will be switchable through a controllable relay. First thing we're going to do is take that twisted wire we just made, and we're going to twist it around the top screw, the top silver screw that is. You'll notice there's two colors, right? There's a gold one and a silver one. We're going to use the silver one for the black wires, and we're going to twist that black wire just around this screw. And you may use some other tools to just kind of make sure it doesn't touch anything metal that it's not supposed to be touching, and we just want it around this screw. Okay, and once that's around there sufficiently, we're just going to grab our screwdriver and tighten it down. And make sure it's pretty tight. We want it nice and tight so we don't have any loose connections. Now, we're going to take our other black wire, the smaller one, and twist it around the other silver screw. And you may need to loosen these. just going to twist it around. Use tools to aid you as needed. And then, just like before, tighten it down. Now, we're going to go ahead and put the other wires on. Now you'll notice there's a green screw here, and then we have the gold screws on the other side. Fortunately, because this tab is still intact, we only have to use one of the gold screws. So we'll take the white wire over there, and just like before, we'll twist it around that screw. Again, using other tools to aid us. And screwing it down to tighten it. Lastly, we have our green wire, and this will be used on the green screw. And again, just like before, we're going to use our tools to assist us in twisting it around and then screwing it down like before. Okay, you might give a tug on every wire to make sure it's in there as well as it should be. Next, there is another port on the front of the gang box. Just feed your two black wires out that way and kind of just set the outlet in place. Now don't screw anything in yet, because we still need to note which one is which for purposes of the relay. So on the relay, you'll notice there are there's two sides first off, but we care about the one that says NC, COM, and NO. And we specifically there care about the common and the normally open. Okay? So we're going to take the one from the top outlet, which for me is this one, right here. The top outlet being the one where we initially twisted the two black wires together. That will go into our common port. And so you may need a small flathead screwdriver. You will need a small flathead screwdriver. And that will go into the common port. And again, this is the wire from the top outlet, which is the one that we twisted the two black wires together. Now the other one is the one from the bottom outlet, and it's the one that's by itself, and it will go into the normally open port. Make sure these are fairly tight. And the last thing we do here, after just looking over our work one more time to make sure it's correct, and you'll of course have your wiring diagram to verify this with, is we just assemble it as shown. Before putting the faceplate on, let's do one more visual examination to make sure nothing is touching anything it shouldn't be, and everything is locked down in place exactly where we want it. And it looks like it is. Now, you'll note that we have a very fancy painted faceplate here. One side being red, one side being white. We want the red one to go with the top plug, and that just signifies that that plug is always hot. So red will signify hot here, and we'll just screw this down. Be really careful with screwing in faceplates. If you over tighten this screw, the faceplate will snap. So just put it in there just snug. Maybe a little more than that. There we go. And just snug. Doesn't need to be super tight. And that is the AC outlet assembly.